Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video on how I play some of my older consoles, or just video games in general. Just want to do a quick video just kind of showing you what my setup is, how I go about switching between all the consoles, and pretty much how I play these old consoles on an everyday basis. The first thing is you got to get yourself an older style CRT TV, like this one that I have here. This is an excellent one. It's a little bit smaller. I'm thinking about finding a larger one, but for the older systems, nothing beats these older style CRT tube televisions. Especially if you can find one that has a flatter screen, like this one. As you can see, it doesn't have the it's not kind of, the tube doesn't actually stick out. It's kind of more of a flat screen. That typically makes for a better picture for a lot of these consoles and games. So that's the first thing that I do. I use one of these older style televisions for my game playing. And then you'll notice that I have a bunch of these older consoles. I pretty much got all of the Nintendo systems. Most of them are set up back here on this particular TV. I have some newer consoles out on my larger flat screen television. But you'll see that I have some of the older consoles here, Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo, N64. There's a Wii in there as well. And then over here on my shelf, I've got myself a GameCube, an Atari Flashback, and then here's a Super Nintendo Mini as well. So, but to hook all of these up, if you just have one console, you're usually fine, because most of these TVs have, your regular, red, white, and blue audio video cables to hook up to. But if you have more than one console, it becomes a pain, because you're constantly having to go back there and plug and unplug, all of these different consoles. So what I like to do is, I bought myself a switcher, which I have kind of back here, and you'll see that the switcher, let me turn the light on there. The switcher actually allows me to have up to 4 different consoles connected at a time. So whenever I want to play a specific console, I just come over here and I just press the button in for whichever console I want. And that'll allow me to play it. So I don't have to go in the back and switch them. And as you can see here, I've got all kinds of different cables coming in and out of it. So that's pretty much the way that I do it. And then all I have to do is, just once I switch the proper button back there, I just come up here and then I just flip on the console that I want. And then I'm usually good to go. As far as power goes, I have just a regular 3 outlet power extension cord that runs over here. One thing that I did, which is very handy with, that helps me so that I don't have to unplug these all the time, is I was able to find a cord that actually works for both the Super Nintendo and the regular Nintendo, the original Nintendo down here. So it's actually one power brick, which is right here, that actually splits off into 2 separate power cords, and they go into both of those consoles. So I can actually power 2 consoles with one power brick, because if you get a bunch of those power bricks, it's going to eat up your your available plug-in space back there. The other thing you could do is you could find yourself a power surge protector, like a bar that has a bunch of plugs in it. Again, the issue that you might run into is if you have a bunch of those power bricks, it's going to eat that space up pretty quickly. So this is the best way that I found. I'm thinking about adding another power strip back here to help out, so I don't have to unplug some of my consoles all the time. But that seems to be working pretty well so far. And then I usually keep all of my cords and extra parts and things like that in my drawers down here. My one drawer is usually for all of the different, I have at least one of each type of controller down here, and I can pretty much just grab the controller that I want. I keep my cleaning stuff down here as well. The other thing I wanted to point out is, if you only just have a couple of consoles, if you're not interested in getting into having 5 and 6 and whatever consoles, then this is actually a good option for just hooking up just maybe 3 consoles at once. So I like to use these things. Let me see if I can get that to focus there. These are pretty cheap. You can find these for like maybe less than 10 bucks. And they're pretty nice. They don't take up a lot of space, and you can just switch it just like that. And you can either nest a bunch of these together if you have a situation where you've got a bunch of different consoles, like, you know, Sega Genesis and all that. So I could actually nest a bunch of these together, but then, you know, it can get confusing with, you know, how to switch that back and forth. So those are my consoles. That's pretty much how I set it up. You know, in the future we'll go and maybe do a full walkthrough of kind of my game room and my gaming setup here, but I just want to kind of go over some of the basics of how I have all of my consoles and everything set up, and it just makes it easier to, you know, to game quicker and not have to get back there and, you know, jumble around with the cables all the time. Thanks for watching.